big one come out.
There you go. Man, that's a big one you got there.
Yeah, that big one come out there.
Well,
Heck
yeah.
No, he got it, he got it, he got it.
Let it go. I sure had fun just watching him stretch my line.
There he is.
Oh, there's 2 of them. I got 2 of them. Holy cow, look at that. Look at that. You got one on each side, Jim.
We going fishing, boy.
Oh, my. Look at that. They're both good ones, too. Bring your fish over here. You bragging about your big fish.
Oh.
There we go, girl.
I always like that, Jeremy. Hey.
There's one. There's one right there. Yeah. Slow rolling that spinnerbait. In the springtime, I have heard all my life that in the springtime, a young man's heart turns to spinnerbaits. That's exactly what I've heard. Turns to spinnerbaits. Well, maybe it was said it's turned to love. I don't know. I don't know, Luke. But an old guy's heart turns to spinnerbaits. I know that for a fact. It's actually the first day of spring out here, and I got my buddy, NFL buddy Luke McCown, quarterback, and we're trying to see if we can spinnerbait some bass today. We're going to try spinnerbaiting them a lot of different ways, and I'm going to try to talk to you about what I do this time of the year, because it was cold last night. The nights are getting in the 30s, but the daytime is supposed to be like 75 degrees before the day's over. High winds, 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds before the day's over, and show you kind of what I would do. Now, I start out early in the morning. I try to find steep banks like we're on right now and slow roll a spinnerbait. Just slow roll it down 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 7, 8, 9 foot deep, depending on how steep the bank is. We're on a really steep bank right now. That's a good way to start right there. That's a nice fish. Baby, big old fat booger. There he is. Big old fat booger. Come right out of that big heavy log, didn't he?
Came right up from under it, yep.
You saw him hit it, didn't you?
Sure did.
Yeah. Had to have your bait pretty high.
Come here.
A lot of them, you know, are going to get up, even they're out in deeper water, they're going to get up in the top of that stuff.
Well, he hit it hard too. Fat fish.
Yeah, they'll domino on it.
That fish is as big around as he is long.
He's going to grow up and be a big girl. She's going to be a big girl. I like them like that. Oh, there's one, another one.
Right at the
He
tree.
wasn't too deep. That one wasn't too deep, Luke. That one was down just maybe 2 or 3 foot. He wasn't nearly as deep as that other one. He's a nice fish.
That's a good fish there.
Good fish. Oh, look how fat he is. Man, that's a pretty bass right there. I don't care. Oh, he's heavy. That is a pretty bass right there. We're using double willow leaf blades. I like to use double willow leaf early in the spring because it creates a lot of flash, and you know, your water's usually a lot clearer before you start getting all the spring rains and everything. And clear water, you try to create a lot of flash. You don't need quite as much noise as you do as the water muddies up. And then also, the shad are starting to spawn, and once those shad begin to spawn, I'd like it for those 2 big double willow leaf blades look like 2 shad chasing each other. There he is. That one's down pretty deep right there.
I was going to say that one was deep.
Yeah, he was down pretty deep. Another pretty nice little fish. Oh, yeah. They're not giants, but boy, they're good quality, aren't they? Look at that. He's another one like he was talking about. See how broad he is? What would you call that on a bass? This is up and down. It's not width, because that'd be back and forth. It's not length. It's this. It's this part right here.
A girth or something.
Well, it's not a girth, because that'd be all the way around.
All the way around. But
we need a word for that, you know.
Shoulders.
Isn't he pretty, though? And just think, that's going to add about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds a year. Woo! You remember that sugar, baby doll. You come back and see me. You remember that now. You remember that. There's one. One of the things we've done here, this is the first little pocket we've hit. We're going to try to probably fish several pockets during the day, but what I try to do in the springtime, I try to fish out in oh, look how fat that fish is. Good gosh, you got one too. That's a nice fat one too. That was just a little bit bigger than mine, wasn't it? Yeah, just a little bit bigger than mine. Look at the belly on that booger, will you? I'm telling you. She's gorgeous. I tell you, we doubled up right there for the first time today. We might hit a few of these pockets a little bit earlier, but one of the things that I try to do is I try to hit the steep banks earlier in the morning when the water still hadn't warmed up yet. And then as the sun gets up and gets on the water, these bass will pull into these pockets like I'm fishing right here. And but we might start, some of the bass that have moved into the pockets maybe yesterday afternoon were still back in the back ends. And now we're not there at the very tail end, but what you want to do when you get to these tail ends, and we'll just talk about this one right here. What you want to do when you get to these tail ends is you want to go as shallow and as far back as you possibly can. Oh God, it's a big one. I was hoping that got off. I was going to tell you it's a 5-pounder. That's a little male right there. That's a male bass. Now the bass we've been catching out in those steeper, deeper waters are females. Little males, they're going to get back in some of these tail ends a lot quicker than the females will.
This portion of Jimmy Houston Outdoors has been brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Jimmy Houston Outdoors, America's favorite fishing show, is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. By Mercury Marine. Go boldly. By Soft Science, supreme comfort footwear for the angler. By Shell Rotella, the engine oil that works as hard as you do. And by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Oh boy, that was pretty. Boy, that big guy come right off the edge of that creek. That's a nice fish. Came right off the edge of that creek, Luke. Eat that Jimmy Houston spinnerbait. Yeah, buddy, looky there. Oh yeah.
That's a good fish.
Nice.
Good fish.
Oh, nice fish. Oh, yeah, that's the best one of the day. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, buddy. Oh, man. Oh. Look at that baby doll. We have moved up here. Oh, man, that's a nice fish. We have moved up here in a lot shallower water, a little bit quicker than we intended to, because Luke has got a soccer game. Oh, wait a minute, Jimmy. I thought you said he's an NFL quarterback. No, his kids has got a soccer game. Listen to me. Luke's a great family guy. And tell you how great a family guy is. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. Have you called home yet this morning?
I've called home a couple times this morning.
Okay, he's only got 6. He's got 4 boys and 2 girls, and you know what that means. That means soccer games, baseball games, track meets, everything in the world. So he's going to have to leave at 1 o'clock. So we actually moved back in the shallower, back in these tail ends a little bit earlier than what we'd intended to. He's going to wait until later this evening. But most important thing, fishing is important, catching fish is important, soccer games is important. I got to tell you, I don't have a soccer game tonight, Luke. When you leave, I'm still going to fish.
Well, listen, the soccer games and practices and all that, that's important. But it's important that you help Mama.
Oh, I hear you.
That's what's really important.
If Mama ain't happy, there's a big problem, huh?
That's right. It's important that... Yep, I got 1 too.
You got 1 too. It doubled up again. 2 doubles. That's a nice fish. You got a nice one too, don't you?
Come up here, bro. Come up here.
I got mine. He's a nice one. You got yours. Both of them nice. Good fish. Good fish, baby doll.
Yep. Well, I got mine on the outside of the mouth.
I did too. Are you serious?
Yeah, sure did.
This is to the top of the head.
On the outside, right there.
I'll be dang. See, they're just running at it, striking at it.
Just short striking, huh?
I got to tell you, mine's bigger than yours.
It is. I'm going to let mine go real quick.
Yeah, there you go. Look where this one took. I mean, he's in the top of the head. He totally missed the bait, but he got hooked really, really good. Sugar booger. Now you see what we caught these fish. We went all the way back in that end, and we actually caught 1 fish, not all the way back. If you're in here later this evening, this water temperature gets up 62 degrees, those fish will be just as far as we can go back in that creek, but they're out in front of them. And that's what you want to do earlier in the day this time of the year, is don't really go to those tail ends. And we only did it because Luke's got to leave a little early, and we just thought they might be back there. But spend your time out in front of them. Steeper banks early in the morning as you works on to the day, get out in front of where they're going to go and end up to, And then later in the day, you want to be back there in those tail ends. There's one. Oh, yeah. Come out of that log and got that spinnerbait. I saw him real pretty. Come here, baby. It's actually one of the smaller ones we've caught right there, isn't it? Ain't not a bad fish. That's a male there. We've been catching a lot of female fish, and that was the shallowest fish we've caught right there probably. And that's a male. Nothing sticking out of his throat. I'm gonna go say, hey Google, and find out a little bit about what time them crawdads come out. What kind of water temperature we gotta have for. Reckon Google knows that? Surely it does. There's one.
Oh,
right
good.
Up by the bank, a nice one too.
Good fish there.
I mean, a nice
Biggest one of the day.
Good fish, a nice one. He was pretty close to the bank. Oh yeah, good fish. Oh yeah, that's nice. Woohoo! Look at that bass, will you? Whoa, wow, look at that guy. A girl. She says, I'm not a guy. Sherry Cole calls all of her girls guys. I can call you a guy. I know you're a girl. Boy, isn't that a pretty fish? That is a dandy. Hit it again. Dogs. Catch that fish, Luke.
Come here, fish.
Quit throwing those incompletions, buddy.
I'm telling you.
Got him.
There's two of them. There was another one there. Throw it up there.
You told me that was a good fish.
There was another. There's another one right
you
there.
caught the little one. Now, throw him out the other side of the boat. You might catch a big one. Probably male and female up there together. They're not on a bed or anything, but they're probably just traveling together.
The other one right there.
You caught the male.
Jimmy's Look Back is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time.
We're down here on El Salto in Mexico. Fred Ward's place, and old Fred is guiding us back there. And Jim Bob claims to be like the world's greatest worm fisherman, so I tied him on a hot spot this morning, slipped around while he wasn't looking, and tied me on old lizard, old riverside lizard. And I caught the first fish on a worm, ha ha ha. Jim Bob, we want one 10 times that size.
We're going to get him today.
We're going to get him. 10 times that size. Yes, we do.
There's a good one.
Oh, you set the hook. Yeah, you got a little bit better fish there. That'll work.
Let's see if we can get him in the boat here.
I don't know if you can or not. Is that a real worm there, or is that a lizard?
That's a big old worm.
That's a real worm. Big old worm. You're right, it is. That's a pretty fish right there.
Sure is. Yeah, that's better, all right. Lost my hat.
Where is your hat? Here, give me that
I
fish.
forgot. I forgot that you had that braided line in your hand.
His hat floating around. It wasn't even wet until you started doing all that.
Jimmy's Look Back has been brought to you by Ranger Boats.
There he is. A little male. He's a pretty looking little fish, though. Oh, yeah, it's a dandy. A little split in his tail. I'll know him when I catch him again by that split in his tail. I know how that. Oh, my head. He said, don't hit my head on the side of that Ranger boat, Jimmy. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. I apologize. Easy for you to say, he says. It's my head that got whacked. Bass can't feel pain. He didn't feel anything. Nothing. They cannot feel pain. Right on the rod tip. Right on the rod tip. That thing get hit just as I got to the boat and run right down under the boat. Right down under the boat. Better power pole down right here for a minute. Nice fish, too. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice mama. Nice mama. What do you say, Mama? You're carrying a precious cargo there. Look at her belly. Look at that belly. It's full of eggs. Make babies. I love them. I love them. She'll lay about, I don't know, I guess 100,000 eggs or so. I don't even know how many. It's a lot, though. Of course, the daddy will eat up about half of them. Oh, right there, right there. Oh, yeah, nice fish. Oh, yeah, nice fish. This is the first end we've hit where it's like it's supposed to be. I'm power poled down right here so I can make some throws up there. The closer we get to the end, the nicer the fish. Look at that. And look at the way that girl ate that. She's got that legend way down in her mouth. And I'm going to unbutton her. That is so nice. Look at her belly. Oh my goodness. You are so, oh. They're just a little sweeter when they're pregnant. We have Planned Parenthood out here on the water too. Planned Parenthood, we're planning on having a bunch of little baby bass. That's what we're planning on doing. You know, this is one of the things you want to do this time of the year is you're catching fish like that. You catch those males that don't have that big bellies, you can take those home and flay them. You catch a bass like that, I don't care where you're fishing. Turn her back. Turn her back. Any lake you're fishing. Let her go back. Let her have those babies. Keep the males, throw the females back. I've always had a philosophy in bass fishing, even back when before we knew anything about catch and release when we were kids. Turn the big ones loose, keep the little ones. They're the best eating anyway. God. Golly, that might be the biggest girl of the day right there. Golly, that's a good girl right there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look at this girl. Oh my goodness. Look at this girl. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, holy cow. And look at that fish. That's not a very old fish. That's a 5-pounder easy, maybe a 6. That is a dandy. Look at that girl. Wow, man, what a fish. Look at that girl. I pulled up right up here on the bank because I wanted to get up here and fish that area right there. I power poled down right here, caught the biggest fish of the day. Hey, Luke McCown, wish you were here, buddy. Luke's at the soccer game right now. What's Jimmy doing? Socking a big old female. What a dandy. That fish is not very long. She's every bit of 5 pounds. Every bit of 5 pounds. Here you go, sugar bear. Ah, my goodness. My goodness. That's why you have 2 power poles on your boat right there. Never would have caught those fish without those.
Jimmy Houston Outdoors is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. By High Seas, when the money's on the line. By Jackson Kayak, Advantage Fisherman. By Orion Coolers, never lose your cool. And by Lucky Strike, where preparation and opportunity collide. Houston's Helpful Hints is brought to you by Jimmy Houston High-Tech Performance Fishing Rods.
Let's talk about something right now that you never hear anybody talk about in spinnerbait fishing is occasionally you have a spinnerbait break, and we had a bait break out there today, and Luke had probably caught, he fished that bait all day yesterday and then pretty much all day today, and he had probably caught, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 bass on that bait. But you're going to break spinnerbaits, and let me tell you, if you've got the right spinnerbait, if your spinnerbait is really made correctly and it's going to vibrate the way it should, if you're going to have blades that are designed to vibrate the way they are designed to vibrate, you're going to break a spinnerbait. And, you know, think about it in a minute. Jimmy Houston Legend spinnerbait is about $5. And you pay $7, $8, $9 for a 10-pack of plastic worms, and if you catch 10 bass out of that package of plastic worms, you feel like you've got a tremendous bargain. If you catch 5 or 6 bass out of a bag of plastic worms, actually you've done pretty good. But a spinnerbait, you catch 10, 15, 20 fish, and you break a blade, you break a wire on there, you think, oh my gosh, the spinnerbait blade broke. But if you use light wire, wire's got a lot of flexibility, a lot of vibration. If you use blades that we specifically designed to vibrate a lot, you're putting a lot of pressure on that. It's like when you use a little kid bending wire back and forth. As you bend wire back and forth a lot, you'll break the wire. Now remember this in using spinnerbaits. If you want to use a spinnerbait that's going to last a long time, use willow leaf blades. And willow leaf blades will catch fish. Predominantly, I use a lot of round blades in my spinnerbait fishing. Round blades create a lot of vibration. Just watch your rod tip. Tie a Jimmy Houston willow leaf on, a Jimmy Houston round, and you'll see a tremendous amount of vibration with the round blades. These are going to break quicker, no doubt about it. But we put right on the package, at the end of the package, Lucky Stripe, helping you catch more fish. That's what that vibration is designed for, is to help you catch more fish. So when you break a spinnerbait after you caught 15 or 20 bass, hey, you've done a really good job.
Well, it's late in the day and the sun's getting low. Caught me a big one, but I let it go. I sure had fun just watching him stretch my line. I made